Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another Running Time Month. This is a 1986 action drama directed by the late Tony Scott and produced by Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, distributed by Paramount Pictures. It's the first movie, of this two-film franchise so far, and it's the original 1986 Top Gun from my childhood. Yeah. I finally got to see the original. I saw Maverick last year and I wanted to go back and watch the original. And it's good. I just prefer the sequel more. Everybody knows Top Gun. Yeah, it stars Tom Cruise as Lieutenant Pete Maverick Mitchell, a young naval aviator aboard the aircraft carrier USS Enterprise. Wink, wink. He and his radar interceptor officer, Lieutenant Junior Grad Nick Goose Bradshaw, Anthony Edwards, are given the chance to train at the U.S. Navy's Fighter Weapons School, Top Gun, at Naval Air Station Miramar in San Diego, California. Kelly McGillis, Val Kilmer, and Tom Skerritt also appear in supporting roles. And the running time is not 2 hours, it's an hour and 44 minutes. So this counts. It's short. See, movies back in the 80s were shorter, James Cameron. They were shorter, freaking Peter Jackson. They were shorter, freaking Christopher Nolan. You don't have to make a movie 3 hours. Sorry, movies nowadays are too long. Back in the 80s, they had a thing called pacing. And nowadays, movies are just caught in the web. And that's why I'm doing this theme month, to show you that there are good movies that are under 2 hours. This is one of them. The movie cost $15 million, not $300. And it made $357.3 to this day when it got re-released last year and in 2021. And also, it's still a good-looking film. Tony Scott, I missed his direction and cinematography. The action sequences are fun when they're there, when they're flying. It still looks good. There's some shaky cam that's a little bit iffy that I don't care for, like when the plane is spinning around. That scene is a little disorienting. And I also think the soundtrack is a little bit repetitive. It's a great soundtrack, but they Take My Breath Away and Danger Zone, they play it a lot, like consistently. And I'm like, yeah, we get it. These are the two songs you want people to buy on CD and cassettes and vinyls back in the day. And of course now you can listen to the song on the songs on Spotify and YouTube and whatever. And I get that, but it is repetitive. I mean, I love Danger Zone. In the second movie, they only play it once. That's all you needed. You don't need to play it consistently throughout the whole film. It's fine by the second time, but by the third time, I'm like, okay, we get it. This is a great song, but you're overusing it. And I don't really care for the love story in this one. I think Kelly McGillis is fine. She's a good-looking actress at that time. But, it's just a little bit, like, forgotten. Like, they have sex, and you don't see that again. They like, hold each other at the end, and then the movie just stops. Because even the movie didn't care about the love story. And I got a mixed reaction from critics back in 1986. But it was a huge hit because people wanted to go see it for Tom Cruise. It was the highest grossing film in 1986, and Maverick was the biggest movie of last summer because Way of Water came out in the winter. The film maintained its popularity over the years and earned an IMAX 3D re-release in 2013. The soundtrack to the film has also become one of the most popular music soundtracks to date. It is, but I don't think you need to hear this Take My Breath Away every time you see the girl. I'm like, we get it already. They didn't do that with Jennifer Connelly. She takes my breath away way more than Kelly McGillis. And also, I do like the other actors in it. Val Kilmer, it's sad what happened to him now. Anthony Edwards is a good goose. I cared about him and Tom Cruise's friendship. Michael Ironside is good. John Stockwell as Cougar. Barry Tubb as the Leonard Wolfman Wolf. Rick Rossovich, Tim Robbins in a small role. And all these other actors that are... Adrian Pastar's in the film briefly. And also the film doesn't feel that long. It's the middle that drags a little bit. After Goose dies, spoiler alert, the film kind of is just Tom Cruise being sad, and he's like, it takes him a while for him to fly again. And the ending is not as emotional as the second one, but like I said, this is the first one. The homoeroticism doesn't bother me. The guy's playing volleyball in the back, outside and being oiled up and showering together, in the locker room. I'm like, it is what it is. Guys will be guys. But it's not a gay movie, I will say that. That's a huge plus for a movie like this. If this was made today and they did the same scene, it would be completely gay on Netflix. And the film, yeah, it still holds up. Most of it does, except for the love story and the soundtrack being overused. But it's a film that deserves your. If you've never seen the original, I say watch it at least once. It's worth your time. And even though it's got some dated things in it, because they don't have the internet back then. They didn't have cell phones. They had landlines and everything. It's still a good movie from the back in the day. And and it doesn't have a cringe-worthy scene like in the second movie was that bar scene. Here, the bar scene, they do the Great Balls of Fire song. Meg Ryan has a cameo in the movie. It's like an extended cameo, and her son is Goose's son, who will be in the sequel, which was nice to see. And yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, what are you waiting for? Maverick just came out last year. It's good to go back and watch the original at least once every year, because it's worth a reminiscent. And movies like this don't get made anymore. Like that, Maverick was definitely a lightning in a bottle, because nowadays a sequel has to be 3 hours long, has so much CGI it takes you out of it, and it has actors that are not the best. Here, they worked. The first movie was good, and the sequel is much greater and a much better experience and more action packed. So I will say that. And it doesn't have an overused soundtrack, which is great. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and see you in the next one.